Hi, I'm AJ Marks.
And I'm Megan Solaginto.
And you're listening to American Idiots Abroad.
Cue music.
Yeah, cue the music.
Yeah.
I love that.
Welcome to American Idiots Abroad.
A podcast you for some reason chose to listen to because you already understand English.
For some
but you
reason.
won't Yeah.
You stupid whores. Why did you listen to this?
The fuck have you chosen this one?
Yeah. Do you have any taste? Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Because you already understand English, but you don't understand this kind of English.
Or because you already understand this kind of English, but you don't understand this kind of English.
On this podcast, we discover what makes us uniquely American by analyzing the differences and similarities between the U.S. and the U.K. with the emotional support of a special guest each episode.
Very needed emotional support.
Yes. You are my emotional support guest, Izzy.
I can do that, baby. I'm here for you.
Is she allowed on planes?
I feel so supported. Yes.
I'm from San Jose, which is in Silicon Valley, which is in the Bay Area, which is in Northern California, which is in the United States.
Brits, you're bound to know at least one of those areas. That's where Megan comes from.
That is my land.
That's where Megan originates.
That's
if
where
you've ever listened to this podcast and just been wondering, where does Megan originate from?
Where was Megan 3D printed? Well, that was in Silicon Valley. Yeah, and I first moved to Liverpool about 5 years ago as a student, and then I graduated, then I went for my master's, then I graduated again, and now I live in Manchester, and I work between Liverpool and Manchester, so I'm a northern gal.
A riveting tale, Megan. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, accent not included, and my 4-year anniversary of moving to the UK is in September.
Oh.
Yay! I think Megan too, right? Your 5-year anniversary is in September?
I think it's my 6th year.
Oh yeah, true. And like Megan, I moved here originally as a student, and for some reason the government decided to let me come back, so that's on them.
Thank you, Home Office.
Liz should definitely get a shout out on this show.
Shout out Liz Carlisle.
If you're listening to this, Liz, we love you. Thank you so much for letting us do what we do. And another shout out was someone who is currently on Le Call with us. Our special guest today.
It's Izzy Engler.
It's me.
Great. I love that for us.
Do you want to let the listeners know who you are, where you're from, what you do?
I'm Izzy. Hi.
Great start.
I lived in London for 12 years and then moved to Yorkshire.
You live in Yorkshire?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that.
I've done my time. And then also moved to Liverpool for university, which was riveting and very enjoyable. So basically, I do all things to do with live music. So I stage manage, I do artist liaison, I do district coordination, which is some like festivals like Glastonbury will have different districts because it's so big, and I would like manage all the theatrical and musical stuff going on in districts like that. My responsibility can go from 200 people in a tent to 40,000 people passing through my area at once. And then I also work in brand sponsorship. So I create activations which pop up on sites which relate to brands when they want brand presence at festivals. And now, due to Corona, I'm a very unemployed live events professional.
You're basically a certified Londoner and a certified Northerner then?
Yeah, man, I'm a hybrid. I'm full on mashup.
What would you identify as?
What?
Because your accent's more Southern, but not like...
Not that Southern.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know. And because so many people have made jokes about me being from nowhere, I don't know if I can identify as anything.
It's so interesting because you're either from the south of England or the north of England, and yet English people said, you must be from nowhere. It's like, but you're from England.
No one was willing to take me under their wing. People from Yorkshire are like, you're not from here. And then people from London are like, you're not from London. You lived in Yorkshire with the tin miners. I know that's Cornwall, but you know what I mean. And yeah, so I don't really know. I can't really
What
answer
about
that
the
question.
Midlands? Have you tried there?
The Midlands are a shithole. I'm not from the Midlands.
All right, well, they won't accept you if you keep calling them a shithole. You kind of burned your bridge there already. And today's topic is, I forgot the topic. Food?
Yeah.
Is it food?
It's like food. It's food.
Because we're hungry people, yeah. Yeah, essentially food, right? We're just going to talk all things delicioso. So let's dive right into it. Izzy, what have you always wanted to know about American food? Let's start there.
So there's two big things that I've never understood and can't really wrap my head around. Numero uno, what is with corn dogs? I don't understand what it is. I don't understand the big whoop. Why do you get them on beaches? Why does anyone want to eat? It looks like a sausage on a stick, really weird.
For context, have you ever eaten a corn dog?
I've never even seen one in real life. I just see them in movies.
Opinion invalidated. No, I mean, I actually never got the big whoop about corn dogs either. And then I had one a few years ago and I was like, whoa.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Like, this is really good.
How old were you when you had your first corn dog?
Maybe like 17 or 18.
What?
Yeah. Are they that common?
You are not an American.
All right. Megan, policing identities, solo ginto.
In the Declaration of Independence, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of corn dogs. And and I pursue my corn dogs like a true American.
How old were you when you were munching on your first corny wiener?
Mate, she flew out the womb and the first thing she got handed was a corn dog. She's a true American.
She came out the womb with a corn dog that she was saving for later.
Honestly. Okay, corn. Have you ever had cornbread before, Izzy?
Like corn, like sweet corn?
Yes. But cornbread, so like made out of cornmeal.
No.
Are corn dogs just like cornbread wrapped around a hot dog?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
No wonder I love it so much. I love cornbread.
Yes, that's the secret ingredient.
So cornbread is...
It's a sausage wrapped in bread on a stick.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I don't like how...
I don't like your tone there.
Yeah, I don't like your tone. It's way more than that. So that's what's encasing the corn dog. That's the corn of the corn dog.
Oh.
Is the cornbread.
Is it like bread, like a slice of bread? Or is it like...
No.
Doughy?
It's like something cakey.
Okay.
Honestly, I would say it's closer to cake than it is to bread.
It's so hard to describe.
Yeah. And it's really good, and I recommend...
Make me one, send it in the post, and I will eat it and give you a review.
At like county fairs, a very common thing is you go and you get a 12-inch corn dog. So they
12
get
inches.
12
inches of corn dog.
Yeah, so you get the foot-long hot dog on the stick, and then they dip it in fresh cornbread batter, and then they just deep fry it in front of you. And then
all right. Anyway, that's that on corn dogs.
Okay.
That's as far as I think we're gonna get. So what's the second thing? Numero dos.
Second thing, cheese in a can. Ugh. I just find it utterly perplexing that something that comes out that looks like that could taste in any way pleasant.
You take the reins, Megan, because I'm not much of a spray cheese kind of guy.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a spray cheese kind of gal.
I would say this.
All right. Sure. There is actually at least one product in Britain that has spray cheese on it, and it's a co-op pizza that is like a Philly cheesesteak pizza, and it's actually the fucking one. We got the pizza, me and the boyf, and I didn't tell him that it was spray cheese on it, but he ate it and was like, oh shit, this cheese is good. And I was like, it's that shit in a can that you judge so hard. It's actually, it serves a purpose. It serves like certain functional flavor combos, and like, that's it. It's like very specific. Also, Britain has cheese in a tube. So I don't know what the difference is really.
Ew.
Yeah.
Like a Go-Gurt, but for cheese?
No, like as if you were buying a hand lotion in a tube, but it's cheese.
Okay, all right, hold up one second. Okay, no self-respecting Britain, if they are in a financial situation that would allow it, not discriminating in any way in that department, but no person would choose to buy that kind of cheese. Ever. That's not a thing. Just because they sell the product doesn't mean people buy it. I've never seen it in my life in someone's home.
I think technically if it's on the shelves, there is some demand for it.
There must be, but
I'm just glad you don't interact with any of those people.
I don't dig it. I don't dig it.
I would say the same goes for the spray cheese kind of thing. Like, it's not necessarily a choice unless you're like,
it's not a choice, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Unless you're 9 and you have a pack of Ritz crackers and you thought, I'm going to heighten this. I'm going to heighten this to like another level of like a delicacy.
Yeah, it was cream cheese. Because then, I don't know, there's just something a bit more okay about that.
Ooh, cream cheese is amazing.
Did you see that chocolate cream cheese they did? I could not get down with that either. Philadelphia, I went one step too far.
It's so funny that everyone here calls cream cheese Philadelphia.
Well, that's the brand.
Or at least where I'm from, we just call it cream cheese. Same. Even though we have Philadelphia and that's like the most popular brand, I would say that there are a bunch of other brands, and so we just kind of call it cream cheese. Yeah. So when people were talking about Philadelphia, I didn't know what they were talking about.
That's so funny, not to discriminate on brands or anything like that. But I don't know, people just, it's cream cheese is just Philadelphia, isn't it? It's just the classy one. Unless you get that really good French roll one. Have you had that? That's like garlicky.
Like bourbon or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. It's good shit.
I was going to say, AJ, I'm surprised that you can even do this episode with the amount of burritos that you eat and only burritos that you eat.
I do live on a burrito to burrito diet.
And this is actually a segue into something that we've maybe touched on. There is like no Mexican food in this country, which makes sense. We are nowhere near Mexico. Or a lack
of quality Mexican food.
Yeah, lack of quality Mexican food.
Well, how many real Mexicans do you think we have here who are running restaurants? The population isn't as big. There's loads of people trying to do knockoff Mexican food.
Loads with sombreros and everything.
Yeah, it's really offensive.
Oh, no.
This is actually something that I need to address. Britain, you gotta stop putting sombreros on people to signify we sell Mexican food here.
It's a bit appropriating, isn't it?
It's definitely that.
More than a bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Yeah, I've never thought about it before, but it is really wrong, isn't it? It's not very good. And yeah, you're right. I mean, there's like some good Mexican food. The best place to find decent copies, I suppose, of Mexican food in the UK is when you go to music festivals and there are vendors there selling food. They always do like the best versions that I've not found as good in any restaurants that I've been to.
Oaxaca is also pretty nice, gotta say. Really love Oaxaca.
I went to some country in Asia, I think it was Indonesia, and like obviously you guys call crisps chips. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I was in this restaurant and like so much of Asia uses Americanisms, and I asked for some chips and they literally delivered me a pile of crisps and some ketchup. I remember just being there like, oh my God, this is that much of a thing.
Wow.
USA.
I also think that's like so interesting that like you can order a fancy meal with French fries or with chips. Whereas for Americans, like I feel like steak with like maybe some steak fries are like the only time you would get like a nice meal with some French fries. Maybe I'm wrong, but like
no, I would agree.
For the most part, you're gonna get it with some veggies or some like weird ass soup or something,
Yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to find, if you were at a nice restaurant, anything on the menu that had chips or fries, as we would say, other than maybe like some sort of gourmet burger or, like you said, like a steak and chips. It's interesting. I thought that the trope was that Americans loved our French fries, but I think it's actually Brits that love it way more because you can just get them all the time.
You can get them all the time, but in a nice restaurant, it's usually like the same option because they're considered not particularly smart to eat. But if you go to anywhere that's like slightly below par, like you can go to a proper greasy spoon cafe, like proper English Cockney greasy spoon, cash only, and you can go in there and you can get like chips with literally any meal you want. Anything. You can get jagged potato and chips. Potato and potato. Do it.
Yep.
Like,
Brits love potato featuring potato on a plate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I love potato featuring potato. Underrated bop.
Favorite release of 2020.
Underrated bap.
Ooh.
Oh God, the bat barm cob thing does my head in.
Across this great land, there are many names for bread, and specifically bread rolls. And depending on where you live, you will say something different. And there's almost a sense of like, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's almost a sense of like regional pride to like which one you say.
So what ones do I know? I know there's a bread roll, a bread bun, a cob, a barm.
That's BARM, yes.
Barm or barm cake.
A bap?
Bap.
Oh, a bap.
Bap is one. I find bap a bit weird because people refer to boobs as baps, but if you want to call that your...
Oh,
really?
Do they?
Have you never heard like a proper, like proper, you know, from the country, like, oh, get your baps out, you know, that kind of thing?
No one's ever told me to get my baps out.
Not referring to bread rolls if that ever comes up, just so you know.
If you don't say the one that's like appropriate to where you're from, you're like not being a proper like someone from your place or whatever.
Yeah.
Someone from your
place.
People get, if you bring up this topic, people get so passionate about it. And it is such a thing because they're just like, no, you're wrong. And it's not even like you just have a different word. It's like, you're wrong about it. You should use the right word. And it's so competitive. It's so weird.
It's such a British mentality to like...
The mad thing is as well is that Britain is so small that you can literally travel like an hour and you'll be in somewhere where they call it something different. And they will like penalize you being like, you can't call it that. That's not what it's called. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. They're like missionaries, but instead of promoting like religion, they're promoting their own unique town's culture.
Literally. Literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is about this argument as well is that people can be from the same place and still call it something different and still argue about it. Most of the different ways of putting it are from the north. And because there's all those regions there where like bread rolls, like a cob is just like, you know, just everybody is having like bread rolls for lunch and stuff because it's easy. Pretty much everywhere below the Midlands says bread roll, according to this specific YouGov thing, which surveyed 24,000 people.
Damn.
The middle of the UK, so like Nottinghamshire and Yorkshire, is primarily cob. Around that, so like Midlands is bread roll as well. And then, yeah, you've got like Barm is kind of up like Lancashire way. So it's more like the more northern you get, the more funky the words get for what you're going to be calling it.
One of my favorite restaurants that I last went to when I was last home is a Korean Mexican fusion restaurant.
Korean Mexican?
Yeah.
They are two cuisines that never should meet.
No, they should definitely meet. I wish that there was like a Japanese French restaurant. I don't know. Something crazy, something left field.
With fusion restaurants, I've never actually been to a fusion restaurant, but I feel like loads of the food I cook is kind of fusion-y because we cook kind of like every meal is like an Asian Western mashup. Like we use like Maggi seasoning in like caramelized onions, and you're kind of just there like, this is so Asian but so French, I just don't understand. But like in a restaurant,
Japanese French restaurant.
Oh my God, here we are. I'm starting in my own kitchen. Does it like, do you have like individual dishes that are one or the other, or is everything a combination of both?
I think it depends on the restaurant.
Fair enough.
But most of them would probably be all just combos, but they would be like maybe the sort of blueprint comes from a traditional dish.
Tex-Mex is kind of a fusion, but not really, because I would say that it's specifically like New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and then northern Mexican food.
Oh, is that what that is? Like Texas Mexican?
Yeah,
Texas Mexican,
which is kind of
confusing. So that's my favorite style of food. It's a place where you can get burgers and quesadillas and some like Cajun pasta. It sounds kind of random, but it's a mix of all like the very important American foods minus like pizza and like what Americans think are Mexican foods, but are really just very Americanized. I make some of my own kind of fusion stuff.
He's known for his quesadillas.
My quesadillas are a tortilla wrap with cheese, mango habanero salsa, and peppers. And when I say peppers, I mean bell peppers. And sometimes chicken. And then it's on a base of pesto.
That's fusion.
Pesto. That's so weird.
It actually works so well. I'll make them for you one time.
Yeah, I
Right.
need to try this.
To be fair, the last time, AJ, that you cooked me some food, it was PopTarts. So how on brand?
That's so true.
Maybe PopTarts, and it changed my life because
Yeah, it was the first Pop-Tarts you've ever had.
I didn't know you put them in a toaster.
The best way.
I've always seen them in like American TV shows and stuff, but I didn't know you put them in a toaster.
What kind of Pop-Tart did you have? That's what they're called, Pop-Tarts, because they pop up.
Oh, what? I didn't know that.
It's a tart that pops up out of the toaster.
I have a question for you guys, right? When I think of American food, I think like Pop-Tarts and corn dogs. That's like what comes straight to mind. Do you have a version of that in the UK?
Yes, definitely. A lot of people have crumpets. A lot of people have fish and chips as like a stereotypical British food.
I see that.
Yeah, there's also another one that like me coming over here and realizing, but I didn't think I really knew about before I came here, was blackcurrant and how massively popular that is. It's like one of the main fruits, whereas for us it's like we'll never have a blackcurrant flavored anything.
I had never heard of blackcurrant until I moved here.
Blackcurrant juice doesn't exist.
Not that it doesn't exist. I just don't think
It's not as common. It's not nearly as common.
I don't know if I've ever seen it in an American store.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've never seen a blackcurrant. I've never, ever, ever in my life seen the fruit. I don't know what the fruit actually tastes like, and I don't know where to find it. But blackcurrant juice is just a thing.
Yeah, blackcurrant juice or blackcurrant flavored
Like sweet.
gummies.
Yeah.
Everything. Medicine.
Yeah. Medicine.
Yeah, medicine too.
Everything. It's like a go-to comfort flavor.
It's like the grape of the UK.
Oh my God, I've never thought.
It replaces grape in a lot of the flavors.
Yeah, so we would just have like purple grape flavor.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys do blackcurrant. I prefer blackcurrant.
Oh my God, that's blown my mind.
Yeah, so we don't do blackcurrant. We also, one thing that I've found super interesting / confusing / I still don't believe it is that Brits don't do peanut butter and jelly, or as you would say, peanut butter and jam.
Not a thing.
Oh, yeah.
I tried it.
Yeah, wild stuff. Was it
Wild.
good?
It's all right.
Did you like it?
I didn't not like it.
What kind of jam did you have?
Crunchy.
Crunchy jam?
Oh no, that's peanut butter. I had strawberry jam. I had strawberry jam.
That's a good combo. For American listeners, in this country, so what we would call jelly, they would just call seedless jam.
Yeah.
And then what is known as jelly to them is Jell-O to us. So if you tell a Brit, I want peanut butter and jelly, they might think that you want peanut butter and Jell-O on a sandwich.
Even though Jell-O is just gelatin, but the brand is called Jell-O. And so that's another thing. It's like how Hoover is the brand for a vacuum and Kleenex is the brand for facial tissue and Philadelphia is the brand for cream cheese. Jell-O is just the brand for gelatin in the US. As long as we're talking about brands, something I've noticed in terms of different brands producing the same product or some things just being called something different, Sun Bites in the UK are Sun Chips in the States.
But it's the same exact logo and it's the same exact design and it's the same exact product.
Shows how much marketing makes a difference in different parts of the world to whether people will buy it.
It's true. In the US, I've seen like the Market Basket brand of Frosted Flakes called Frosties. Mm-hmm. And then I came here and realized, so in the UK, they call them Frosties.
Yeah, man.
And then in the UK, the off-brand one is called Frosted Flakes.
What? Is it?
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, wow, they've just borrowed the other country's version of it. I think it's so funny that when I went to Germany for the first time, I had Lay's chips, but they were called Walkers. And I found that so funny because they're called Walkers in the UK as well. And I always found that so funny that, like, of course, we're the lazy ones that are just like, we get Lay's chips.
I'd never even thought of the actual names being Lays and Walkers. But you get Lays in Asia and like Morocco and stuff. That's Lays as well.
All right. So we're finding out who all the active countries are, really. So in 1948, Walkers was founded. And then Pepsi bought Walkers in 1989.
Pepsi.
And they changed it to Lay's, but they wanted to ensure British loyalty, so they kept it Walkers in England. I have no idea why it's in Germany.
Interesting.
But that's why
That
it is.
is so interesting.
But I wanted to mention Rice Krispie treats versus Rice Krispie squares. I didn't realize that they were called something different here.
They're just squares, aren't they?
That's the most British response ever. They're just squares, aren't they? Oh, and then another one. They have Cool Ranch Doritos here, what Americans would know as Cool Ranch Doritos, but they call them something different here. Here in the UK, they just call them Cool Original, but in mainland Europe, they call them Cool American, which I think is really funny.
Cool American.
Cool American Doritos. I love that. But Cool Ranch Doritos are like the most popular flavor of Doritos aside from the original in the States. Like that's how a lot of Brits brand food here is they're like, this is an American thing.
Yeah, that is true. Like we have American diners and they're called an American diner.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what they're called.
Unfortunately, a lot of the American food in American aisles are not really correct. Like hot dogs in a jar, we do not do that. That is
Sure you do.
No.
Yeah, you do.
What?
No, we don't.
Do you think that's a thing?
That's not a thing. I thought that was like the thing.
In an American section in like Tesco or whatever, they will without fail have 6 hot dogs in like brine water in a jar on a shelf.
Yeah.
And it'll be labeled American hot dogs and it'll have like an American flag on it or whatever. And we do not do that. We buy our hot dogs in refrigerators like like normal humans eating meat.
That's wild.
Yeah, guys, we Americans buy our hot dogs just like everybody else, one leg at a time.
Every time like British people will try to argue with me and they'll try to tell me like, no, that's an American thing. That's like a pure American thing. That's the only reason why we do it. And I tell them, no, it's not. I have never, ever once in my 20 years living on American soil seen a hot dog in a jar until I came to Britain. And they go, nah.
That's so funny.
I've seen people just put ketchup on bread and then eat that for a meal.
Oh my God, that is a sacrilege.
Although a lot more common would be like baked beans on top of bread, which is so weird because Boston baked beans are like, I think the standard American baked beans, very, very different from the baked beans that you have here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The beans that I'm accustomed to are sweet. Like they're kind of thick. They're like you would eat them with barbecue. They have a very distinct flavor.
Me and my boyfriend, when we were in lockdown together, basically got into the habit of having beans on toast for breakfast every single day. And so we've moved into this place with like a bunch of our mates and we still pretty much have beans on toast for breakfast every single day. And because of like everything's been so mad here lately, we just keep going out for dinner. So as far as most of the people in this house are concerned, the only thing that we cook is beans on toast. And we've lived here for like 7 weeks. Do you want me to hit you up with a hot fact?
Ooh, yes. Hit us up with a hot fact.
So, hot fact. You know, in Cornwall, they're famous for Cornish pasties. It's a fact that there's like the extra crust, like it's like really crusty around the edge of a pasty. That bit is so that the tin miners way back when could hold on to that and not get the arsenic from their hands on their food.
Interesting.
And so it was literally like to protect them. So that's why like that crust is in that shape. And then there's an old wives' tale that I'm not sure if it's actually true, but people used to say that in one side of it, you'd have like the meat, and then in the other side of the pasta, you'd have jam, so that it was like a dessert.
I hope that's not true, but I could totally see that being true.
So could I.
That's so interesting.
But yeah, so that's the thing.
So would they not eat the like really crusty bit that they held on to?
No, so it'd be like a really, really, really thick, like hard bit of crust. Yeah. And so that's why they're that shape.
Very interesting.
Wow. What an episode. And that was American Idiots Abroad. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Izzy.
You're welcome. Always here for a party about food.
Izzy, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Izzy _Millie with an IE on the end. Mm-hmm. Or if you're in live events and you've got something for me, I'm on LinkedIn as well. It's Izzy Engler.
Megan, where can people find you?
Well, AJ, I really appreciate you asking that. People can find me.
Oh, I didn't mean it.
Oh, okay, great. I'm going to answer anyway, as if you did. So people can find me in all the usual places. That is at I Am Sola Music. I Am Sola. What a surprise. And you can find my songs Self-Destructing and Closure out on Spotify, Apple Music, yada, yada, all the usual places wherever you stream music, buy your music. What about you, Ajay?
Ooh, me, at AJ Marks Official. That's where you can find me. It's pretty simple. Every platform. I think that's all the time we have for today. Let's go out on a song that Megan wrote while we were in between seasons.
Yes.
So we never got to promote it.
No, we didn't.
So this is Sugar Honey Spice. Megan, what the fuck is Sugar Honey Spice about?
If you want to know, and a little inside scoop, the original lyric, I was at a songwriting camp in November, and I was paired with a team for this artist, the Swedish artist based in Norway called Wilhelmina. I was just reading a recipe trying to find like interesting words. I was just going through different like Google searches trying to find interesting words. The original lyric that I came up with was a joke lyric, and I just went, sugar, honey, spice, fuck me like your wife. That was the original lyric I came up with, and we all laughed at it. And then
that sounds like a very Megan lyric.
It is. It was to make people laugh, and it was just kind of a little bit. But then, like an hour later, we were trying to come up with a hook, and then we were like, wait, do we actually like sugar, honey, spice? I was making a joke. I was trying to go for the fuck me like your wife part. Yes, so shout out Wilhelmina, Tom, and Ashley, who all worked on it with me.
Cool beans. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on places that are not Spotify.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah. This is Sugar, Honey, Spice by Wilhelmina.
You wanna stay when I tell you to run? I swear I don't wanna be nice, but I'm sugar, honey, spice. You can have my body, never know the real me. Boy, just for tonight, I'm your paradise, trying to catch a feeling that I don't believe in. I know I'm your type, I got what you like, sugar, honey, spice. Yeah. Sugar, honey, spice.
Coming around every weekend.
Don't wanna meet him.